right, here we go. Welcome to episode 4 of Two Michelle's, One Question.
Yay.
And how are you? How is everybody today? How are things?
I'm just better now because I'm here.
Well, that's right.
You know, we're recording this on a Monday, so, you know.
We are.
That was a good thing.
Now, listen, if you have a question for us, head to our YouTube channel, head to our TikTok channel. Instagram.
Still working on the Facebooks, but, you know.
We can't help it. We're multi-global. Does that even make sense? Okay, let's just jump right into this week's question because this one's a good one. And by the way, in the weeks to come, we're going to have guests suss out these questions with us. We want to answer them to our best ability.
Right. We want to bring, sometimes we can't answer all the questions, so we try to find the people who can.
Bingo.
Yeah.
Here's a question, though. This one's like not like Socrates or anything really, you know, where you have to Google. But Socrates. Here's the question today. When were you most scared in your life? And what did it prompt you to do and or change? Ooh, it's a double.
Ooh. Oh, I didn't realize that was part of the question.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, since this is your question, I would like to hear your story because you gave me a little tease.
Okay. I grew up a swimmer and I used to lifeguard and swim and dive and all that stuff. And they were putting together a water park out at the lakeshore called Pleasure Island. And it was out on Honolulu Road on this little lake called Black Lake. And probably, I don't even know if they got like federal or OSHA or anything. It was just this guy decided he was going to put a water park on this plot. And I wanted to work there so bad. And I applied and I started out at the like front gate selling tickets. But I wanted to be, because if you were a lifeguard, that was the tits. Like that was.
I was lifeguard. My daughter's a lifeguard.
Yeah.
It's a good job.
Yeah. I lifeguarded. Right? Yeah. And if you're a lifeguard at this water park, you're one of the cool kids. Like you didn't have to.
Pleasure Island. Let's be real. You
didn't have to clean up the waste. You didn't have to clean the toilets. You were a lifeguard. Excuse me. Like you had your own uniform. Oh, it was awesome.
Okay.
So I finally got on the lifeguard team. There's only like 8 of us. I'm on the lifeguard team and I am on the trolley drop, which it's a deck built.
Oh my God.
You swing over on a cable on this, and then you drop into Black Lake. You literally drop it.
Line.
And there's no, like a zip line, only you drop into the water. No life jackets. I mean, I guess there were life jackets, but there was no rule about having. So little boy about 7 is scared to death to do it. And his mom's like, you can do it. And his mom was just this big, mean woman. You can do it, Eddie. And Eddie was petrified. And I was stationed up on the deck. I got my sweats on, my suit on, because you look good, but you got to cover. I had to cover my legs. Like I had to be, but I wanted to be cute. I had my sunglasses on, my cool Ray-Bans. I'm all cool. Eddie goes out. He doesn't want to let go. And his mom's going, let go. He lets go and he drops into the lake. Now the lake is only like 7 feet deep in that area, but he was about 4 feet tall. And you can drown in a bowl of soup. And so we're all smiling. Ha! Where's Eddie? There's no Eddie. There's one bubble.
Yeah.
And I pull Eddie up off the bottom.
Oh my gosh.
And Eddie is not breathing. And so I pull him onto the shore. I jump off the deck and into the water. I do my right. And I go down. Took 2 dives to find him. I pull him up. I drag him out. And I did one, turned his head, cleared his mouth like you do, put his head back, CPR, 1 breath, and he coughed it up. Just 1 breath is all it took.
Oh my God.
1 breath.
You saved Eddie's life.
I was petrified. And his mom was screaming at him the whole time. And
about what?
I don't know, but I was petrified. I thought this kid is going to die and it's going to be on my watch.
No.
And oddly enough, when I started the story just now, that's not the story I was going to tell.
That was about Mason getting lost.
It was at Pleasure Island. Mason got lost at Pleasure Island. Yeah, which I'll tell that, I guess, next.
Gosh, Pleasure Island does not sound that pleasurable.
Right. We were in the kiddie pool.
And it's a lake. That's the other thing. Lifeguarding in a lake is not the same as lifeguarding.
Yeah, well, there were pools and stuff too, but there was the lake. Yeah. And we're at the kiddie pool. My other biggest fear was there too. We're at the kiddie pool and it's me and all my sisters. I had a day pass because I worked there and all the kids were playing at the kiddie pool and I can't find Mason. We look up, I think my sister's watching them. I ran into the parking lot and screamed like a crazy woman at every car to stop. I wouldn't let anybody out of the parking lot. I searched every single car. I thought they were taking Mason.
Right.
Finally, somebody radioed from the top of the Dipsy whatever. There's a little kid in green trunks up here. He climbed all the way up to go down the water slide by himself. He was only 3.
Oh my gosh.
My first 2 fears were around water, because when you're a lifeguard, you're trained to be afraid of water.
Yeah.
Scariest moment ever.
Wow. That's a twofer. I got a twofer.
I'm sorry.
No.
I had to tell I saved a life before I got into my...
So wait, now you did ask the second part of the question too. What did you learn? What is your takeaway?
I learned that I'm a damn good lifesaver. No, I learned that I don't even know what
Put your kid on a leash?
Yeah, well, you know what though? Remember those parents who put kids on leashes? Do they still do that? Do you still see kids on leashes?
I do occasionally, like Disney World. Yeah.
And part of me gets it.
Well, sort of, but
kids.
right.
Yeah.
No. I don't.
Yeah.
I never put Elle on a leash.
I
never needed to, really.
That's a problem with having all these stupid stories that you don't know which one you're going to come out with when you start talking about my greatest hits.
Now that I know you can save my life.
Yeah, I can.
That's good to know.
Apparently.
CPR has changed a little bit, although I am CPR certified too.
Are you?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm not right now.
Yeah. But, well, you can come to our we're having free classes at our.
Oh, you are?
So you can come for that. Yeah.
All right. So, Michelle Dunaway, when are you the most scared in your life?
Oh, gosh. And, the one that always comes to mind, and it's this weird story. So I was doing a story about LASIK surgery. And so I was getting LASIK and we had a camera in there and, you're awake during this procedure. And basically all they did was give me this little frog stuffed animal. They're like, this is the stress frog. Just squeeze this and, you're going to be okay.
It's stress frog.
Right. And I'm like, okay, I'm nervous. And, your eye is open and they do this little cut around your eye. Well, one went fine. And then the second one, and they all go in the corner and start whispering. And I'm there and my eye is like open. My friend is shooting video of this. They tell him to turn the camera off and they all go and powwow in the corner. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to go blind. Like something is wrong.
Did the word male or practice come out of anybody's mouth?
I didn't hear what they were saying, but I was terrified. I literally was like, oh my gosh. And they ended up, it was fine, went okay. But afterwards, I was like sobbing. Like, you can't see. It feels like you have gravel in your eyes. And I'm like crying hysterically. I'm like, oh my God, that was the worst experience of my life. And da da da. And the doctor like shamed me. He's like, it wasn't that bad. Da, da, da. I'm like,
oh, that's because that was guilt. Is he Catholic? Has to be Catholic. That's guilt. Throwing that guilt like that.
This is not like a really great story, but I just.
No, it is.
Man, I was like, you're sitting there wide awake and something has gone wrong, but you don't know what. And literally it's my eye.
Are you not semi-sedated? They didn't give you anything?
All. No. So like my friend had it and they gave her Xanax.
It wasn't LASIK. It was lenses put in, but you're awake. Right. I don't remember any of it because they gave me some great stuff.
No, nothing. I was straight up like,
why? Oh boy.
And yeah, so that was very scary.
Well, we were just talking earlier today about that's one of if you had to lose any, would you rather lose speech, hearing, or vision?
Oof.
I mean, anything but vision.
Right? That would be
vision would be I would want to keep my vision over anything, I think.
I think so too. I mean, yeah. It would be so hard.
Taste, I would lose. Ooh, I don't know. Taste a tough one. Wow. Taste vision. I don't know.
I'd keep my vision.
But you thought you were maybe going to.
I didn't know. Like I didn't know. And then they weren't talking to me about anything. And I just felt in the dark and I felt like I was like, I don't know what's going to go wrong. But, but I've been through a lot of scary things. Like, it's just scary it's all relative.
It is relative, but when it's you, like people can go, oh, come on, that's not but it's when when it's a 16-year-old kid like I was watching a kid die in front of you.
And being responsible for saving his life, which is why I also think lifeguards, it's a crazy job for a kid to have.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, true, but man, it always paid really well. The lifeguards always paid really well.
You get a tan and
I know. I know.
Yeah. And there have been other scary incidents in my, and when you lose a kid in the store, like I'll love to go hide in the racks at TJ Maxx and then you can't find your kid and you're like, I did have her paged once at Meijer. She didn't hide again after that because she was so
good
embarrassed.
Well, that's that. That's what I'm saying.
Have her paged to come to the front of the store. But that's always scary. And then, I had a scare that Elle was diagnosed with cerebral palsy. We took her to a orthopedic surgeon. She's always toe walked and, and a just as a parent hearing that is scary to hear.
Where your kids are involved, nothing, rationalism, being rational is off the table when your kids are involved. I again was ready. I get it, how a crazed woman can take a knife. Like I would have knifed somebody if that kid was in anybody's car, if Mason was in anybody's. I was like, the owner was like, oh my God, because I had worked there in the past. So I'm now an adult and I was there and the same owner. And he's like, Michelle. And I was like, in the parking lot, nobody leaves because it was gated. And I was at the gate going, nobody leaves. They're like, we just want to get our kids home for lunch. And I'm like, nobody leaves till I check your car. Like it was crazy.
We gave this woman a free pass and now she's interrogating every one of our guests.
Probably a good 45 minutes. And your fear was probably a good, 10 minutes of fear. Your fear was...
Well, and you want to talk about long-term fear. This is going to PSA for all the parents out there who have not gone through teaching a child to drive. That is a long-term scare. Literally getting in a car, a death machine with a child who doesn't know how to operate it. And then sitting next to them, with them, like, yeah.
I don't remember.
So fresh and real. And then I let her out and go do that every day. Go take that car and go to school.
See, did she drive at all though before?
She did not want to. She would not go in a go-kart. We're like, come on, let's go go-karting so you can at least try to do this. No, did not want to.
How old were you when you first drove?
Probably 12. I was on a farm. I was on they let me drive the truck in the back 40 and whatever,
Right. So same here. Like we drove.
Driving a dually.
Dunaway in a dually.
Mm-hmm.
What the hell? Wait, explain the dually. What's the
dually is it has two four wheels. So it's like two wheels and two wheels on a big truck.
Yeah.
Big, huge.
Oh, that.
Yeah.
Oh, I was thinking it's side.
What? You're
one of those great big things.
Big, huge pickup truck with double axles, right?
Yeah.
Not like a semi, but like a...
No, but I know what you're talking about. Two tires and two tires on each side, a wide...
Yes.
Oh, my God.
Farm truck.
Yeah, I took every day at lunch, I would take Brother Roberts. He was our counselor. I would take his car. Every day he'd throw me the keys and I'd take it and we'd go see all our boyfriends who were in college and stuff at lunch in high school. And
how old were you?
Well, he thought I was 16. I didn't even have my license.
Like an employee of the school was giving you his car?
Yeah, he threw. Yeah, it was Catholic. There's no, they aren't federal. Yeah, Brother Robert, he'd throw me his car keys. And we'd go see our boyfriends or we'd go out to the other school, whatever we do. And then I'd come back at lunch and I'd throw him his keys back. And he'd go, here are your keys. And then on my 16th birthday, they tricked out my locker. And I got to school and he was standing at my locker going, you son of a bee. Because I was 15 for a year taking his car every day at lunch.
Well,
oh yeah,
shame on him.
I know now that I look back, now it's probably wasn't not appropriate.
That's not on the 15-year-old. Like, yeah, I'll take your car.
Yeah, God, I could have killed somebody or myself or.
That's my fear every single day. And now it's winter out, and I'm like, oh okay.
Does she drive on her own a lot?
Yeah, every day. And now she's got to drive to school's not far, so yeah. But then go to East Kent. She drives to Flint and back by herself. 2-hour trip.
In the winter, it might be a little.
Yeah.
If it snows.
That's the thing. All you need is a good slide into an intersection, and then your winter driving is right back in where it needs to be. But learning the finesse of pumping the brakes and going slower than you should. And, yeah.
Okay. Speaking of fears, another fear, an accident. Have you been in an accident?
I have not been. Thank goodness, knock on wood, not been in that many serious accidents. Okay. One of my first memories was when my mom got in a car accident, though. And that one was a pretty serious. She had a Renault, a little tiny.
Yeah, Renault car.
Yeah.
I had a Renault car.
Tiny. And we got xylophoned in there. I was in a car seat. And I vividly remember that as a kid. I was probably 2. But only because it was traumatic. But I've driven a car off a road into a culvert. I've hit a deer. I lived in Michigan for 2 weeks and I totaled my car.
What? Welcome to Michigan. And you totaled your car.
I know. I was up north and But what about you've been in some?
Yeah, I've been in a few accidents. Listen, although a lot of them were not my fault. Like the one woman, she totaled out. Yeah, I've got my car totaled a couple times. Somebody ran a red light. Somebody did, I hit a deer going up fast on the highway not that long ago. Oof. My favorite car I've ever had.
I'm like, and you drive a small car too. So like that,
I know.
I do feel a little safer in sort of an SUV-ish thing.
Yeah. I like a car. I like a fast car though. I like a car.
I know.
I'm a driver. So what did you, so what changed in you? Like after does this change the way you look at surgery? Did this change the way you search for doctors?
I will say, so the takeaway between that and then the we don't know if it was a misdiagnosis, if she may have cerebral palsy and it may be very, very mild form, but I used to put full trust in the medical professions and I used to trust doctors implicitly.
Like they're like they're God.
And I don't know where that came from or why I thought that, but man, I have done a 180 since then and I am going to be a skeptic and I'm going to get a second and third opinion if I want. And we're all human, right? And I don't know why I put a medical professional on a pedestal.
I did too.
That all went by the wayside after that.
I thought they were the knowing. Do you know what percentage did I read? It's something like 60% of medical is a guess. It's like some ridiculous, like it's trial and error.
Right? I mean, you go down a list of symptoms and how many different things could you have? Like a million, right?
It's the same thing with childcare. With Mason, you are the only person you can trust with your child. Like I thought my sisters were watching him.
Right.
And his first daycare person, I went to pick him up early and she wasn't there. And of course she was taking him in his car seat on cleaning jobs. I didn't approve him being in a car with her. It's my first child. This is my first baby. So I lost a lot of trust too.
Yeah.
The only person you can trust is yourself when it comes to.
Full disclosure, one of my babysitters, she ran a daycare out of her house. She was arrested for hiring a hitman to kill her husband.
What? Why didn't we start with that? We have 3 minutes left now in the damn podcast. What?
Yeah. Crazy, right? She used to feed us bologna and ketchup sandwiches. They were the most disgusting thing.
Wait, this is your daycare for you?
When I was in daycare, when I was a little kid.
Your babysitter when you were a kid hired a hit. Well, it doesn't make her a bad babysitter. Maybe she's better with kids than she was.
Her husband, he had really gross feet. I remember that too.
What? So she wanted him dead because... What?
Well, I don't know. It must have been more than the feet.
Where was this in Chicago when you lived in Chicago?
Chicago suburbs. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How did
ran out of her home daycare? And this is years later.
Did he die?
I think so.
Oh, he really did get killed.
Yeah. And I think she went to prison. I'm not making this up, I swear.
Your first babysitter who gave you ketchup and bologna. Yeah. Oh my God.
Don't trust anyone with your kid, but you have to put that trust in them. But man, always be thinking.
Part of me thinks she's really efficient. She found a guy, hired him, got the job done. She got caught.
Right, she got caught.
He had gnarly feet. That's all you remember about that. You saw him barefoot? Yeah. Our parents, it's different. It was different. Our parents dropped us off of it. It changes every single, every lifetime span. Like my mom, her mom, when my mom was 4, some guy, her parents didn't know, picked my mom up for church every morning, drove my mom to church. My mom was 4, so she could sing Ave Maria in church every morning. Like every generation, we get a little smarter.
Yeah.
A little bit smarter.
You don't send your kid down the street to go buy a pack of smokes, right?
Oh, yeah, that happened. Yeah. Oh, my God. All right. Please follow along. This was eye-opening today. This is good. 2 Michelle's, 1 question, but follow along. If you want to subscribe, again, leave a question. We'll tackle your questions. You can find us on anywhere. Just search 2 Michelle's '1 question. The number 2, the number 1.
Yeah.
And
man, this is fun.
Yeah, here's to not being afraid anymore. That's the other thing. It takes a lot to scare me now.
Well, right, because you can't live in fear. You got to have trust in the universe doing good things for you.
I just don't care. That's the thing. I just don't care like I did. My son's 36. He better be afraid that he loses me at this time.
Well, right. I'm still driving around with a 16-year-old, so I'm still scared.
All right. Well, thanks, Michelle.
Thanks, Michelle. We'll see you next time.
Okay.